Welcome to Unplugged Live with Dr. Diane Smith-Clark, PhD. Get ready to get inspired by the stories of overcoming life's challenges to bring change and transformation. Here's Dr. Diane.
Hello and welcome again to Unplugged. I'm your host, Dr. Diane Clark, and I'm so delighted that you are here today. Listen, I want to invite you to do something. Like, share, and subscribe to Diane Unplugged on all social media outlets. I appreciate it because you know they run by algorithms of people who like, share, or subscribe to your channels. So we would appreciate you helping us to make a presence with the algorithm. I want to invite you to a very special event that we're going to have September 30th. That's just a few short weeks from now. We're going to be doing Motown Review. It's going to be exciting. We're doing it in honor of grandparents who are raising their grandchildren, a noteworthy cause for people who have selflessly given themselves in a time of life when they should be resting, traveling, and relaxing to raising children, going to bus stops, going to PTA meetings, doing homework. We want to honor them for their great service in the community. I believe you can agree with me that it really does take a village to raise a child. They need that support, and we're grateful that grandparents are stepped up to the plate to raise these children and give them a fair chance at developing a quality life. That event is going to be held September 30th, 4:00 p.m. at the Social Event Center. That's 644 Cesare Boulevard. The Social Event Center, 644 Cesare Boulevard. We're going to start promptly at 4 o'clock. Listen, we have a live band and a DJ, fabulous food and fun. We're going to be giving away free gifts, and many of those gifts will be monetary. So we invite you to go and get your ticket now. You can get your ticket from drdianeclark.org, or you may get your ticket from Eventbrite, Motown Review, or you can get it from Ticketmasters. Either way, we'll be happy to serve you. For more information, you can go to our website at drdianeclark.org, or you may dial 904-476-1104. That's 904-476-1104. We'll be happy to serve you. So if you want to nominate a grandparent, or you want to register as a grandparent raising your grandchildren, please do so at the website. Or if you're having difficulties with that, give us a call. Don't forget Motown Review. That's September 30th at 4:00 p.m. Well, this week we are going to continue talking about the impact of Alzheimer's and dementia and how it is on a rate increase among our communities. And we've had two psychologists on that have talked about it. And today I'm going to bring on someone that's going to help us with preventive care so that we can start making ourselves aware and preparing our bodies not to succumb to that disease. So I want you to help me welcome Mary Merritt. Mary Merritt is with Get Momentum Fit. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Dr. Diane. Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. It's so nice to have you here. And I want you to first introduce yourself to my guests, tell them how you got started with preventive health coaching, and then we'll talk about our subject.
Okay. My name is Marie Merritt. I own a personal training and health studio that really focuses on the individuals that walk through our doors. I founded in 2005. I have an athletic career, and I noticed that there was a huge chunk of our industry missing that helps people have access to their health. And that's whenever I got into the health and wellness coaching, which is from a behavioral side on helping people understand that you can make big changes through very small, incremental, consistent steps in your day-to-day life. And what my mission is to give people access to better health for themselves, because the more we have access to our health, the more free we are of disease and illness. So thank you.
That is so important. And I want you to let's talk about some preventive care. I noticed on your website that not only do you do personal training, but you have youth programs. So that means you have programs for youth to start them early with preventive care. There's group fitness for persons who don't want just personal coaching. They can join a group and work with others, network, make new friends. And then there's the health coaching. And I want you to talk about that and some preventive measures that adults can take against developing Alzheimer's and dementia.
Well, through our lives, I believe that we were born to move. Everything in our body, on the inside of our body, is moving. And through life, we're conditioned to be still. People think of exercise as this thing that we need to condition ourselves to do. But if you watch a child, they're moving, they're constantly playing, and we're trying to get them to sit still, eat their food, sit still, do their homework. And I think that through life, as we continue to age and progress, our access to the way that we think about movement changes. And so we start to hold still a little bit more. And adults, very simply, there's so many things on our to-do lists that it's easy to let our bodies and our health fall to the wayside. What I encourage people to do is something as simple as taking, I call them exercise snacks, a good 5 minutes of movement to give themselves a break from sitting. And that could be walking around, that could be push-ups on a counter, that could be just standing up and moving your arms around a little bit. But those little intermittent snacks of movement throughout the day stimulates our brain, stimulates our blood flow, allows nutrients to pass through our bodies. And it can be very relieving from a stress state.
That is so important because stress these days is very high. We're dealing with a refreshed COVID-19 that seems to be spreading and headed in the direction of an epidemic. People are dealing with job stress. They've had to start their lives over since COVID, and now they're just getting adjusted. And here's a new challenge. We're dealing with shootings and killings of our young people. And of course, you heard about the mass murder that happened just recently in our city,
Yes.
Dollar General. Such a sad thing to happen. So you can see how stress is escalating. But what can we really do to de-stress and help our bodies maintain a healthy state in the midst of opportunities to be stressful?
Well, I think the hardest part is depending upon the community that you're in and what you have access to, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't feel safe to go outside and go for a walk, that to me is something that is, it's a huge systemic issue. And then not feeling safe within a community will limit people's access to being able to go outside, which going outside and spending time in nature has been proven to reduce our stress levels. And so there's this kind of double-edged thing going on right now that if you don't feel safe to have access to something that should be stress relieving, our stress then escalates to the next level. And what I believe in firmly is finding a community of people that you feel safe and confident with, that you can go move, that you can take a walk in nature, that you can sit and breathe and have a good connection, or just have that moment to say, oh, like these are my people, this is my community. We're focused on creating better health for ourselves and within our community. That can actually reduce stress, even when there's so much uncertainty.
That's very true, Marie. It's if you don't feel safe, you're not going to do much exercise. Where is your center located? I know it's in Ponte Vedra.
I am in Ponte Vedra Beach. I kind of haphazardly found someone who was underwater on their lease. I was young, I was 21, and I was working for somebody that my moral compass didn't align with. And I said, oh, well, if this idiot can run a business, then so can I. And I ran into someone who was in this business park who needed to get out of their lease. So I started subletting. I had no idea what I was getting into. I just knew that I wanted to help people. It's been a good community. The one thing I will say is there are times that it feels isolating from larger parts of the community that need more access to their health.
That's awesome. You'll have to give our audience your address and how they can locate you, a phone number they can contact you before we go off of the air.
Okay.
Marie, what makes exercise so important? Because as you, of course, you know, as you age, your interests, your energy, and your thought patterns don't generally run toward exercise. We might take a walk or, do a few things, but we really don't get into the habit of stretching or going to a gym. What are some things we can do at home? And let's talk about maybe from age 55 on. What are some things we can do to get that momentum? Hey, I need to exercise every day. So here's 3 things I can do.
So everybody has a chair or a couch in their house. So I tell people, before you go sit down and watch Netflix, I want you to sit down and stand up off of that chair or that couch 10 times. Just adding, it's those exercise snacks, right? We go into the kitchen a lot, right? We can do a push-up on the countertop. We have a body, right? You can move your body. Sitting, changing positions while you're sitting. Sometimes sit on the floor. That will encourage you to stretch because sitting on the floor gets uncomfortable. If you can't get off the floor, that's something that we need to work on because being able to get off the floor is very important as we age. But being able to move. So exercise is important because it stimulates your neurons, right? Like our neurons think of it as the hardwiring electrical system for our body, right? Our muscles can't fire without that electrical impulse. Mm-hmm. That electrical impulse also needs water. That's a kind of segue. Both know we need to stay hydrated. But the electrical impulse that starts going to our muscles actually rewires our brains. It makes our brains have more neural pathways. So exercise can help your brain like rewire and get smarter without even having to go to like hitting the books and studying.
Oh, wow.
It gives us nice buzzy stimulation up there.
That's so important because that's where the plaque piles up. That's where the dementia, the Alzheimer's sets in and begins to reduce the blood flow, I believe, to the brain. And anytime you reduce the blood flow to the brain, you can cause illness, sickness, or
death.
Yeah,
even
death. Yeah, that's right.
It's something that I think we start viewing. I don't know when it happens. We start viewing exercise almost as punishment, which is why I start the programs for kids, because I want them to know that you can work out, you can feel good. My job is to help people feel better whenever they walk out of my doors than whenever they came in. Right? So if people in their homes are sitting still, we're going to be more tired. The more you hold still, if I were to sit still and watch a movie, I would probably fall asleep. My body's like, I don't want to be still. But the more we're still, the more still we're going to be. And then the more tired we're going to be and the less motivated we're going to be. And motivation is a fleeting thing anyways. So being able to do something that makes you a little bit out of breath. You should be moderately uncomfortable having a conversation, but still be able to talk. That's how you know you're getting your heart rate up, because our brains, our bodies love that blood flow. Our nerves love the blood flow. And you'll actually not only see a better focus, better energy, better reduction in pain. Motion is lotion. Our bodies like to move.
I know I recently had a knee replacement.
Okay.
And prior to the knee replacement, I know it was 8 weeks of therapy. I'm sure it seemed like forever. But the message every time I went to therapy was motion is lotion. And when you're hurting and you're 55 plus, it does become a challenge to move those joints. And then once arthritis gets in or the bone starts to deteriorate and so forth with that, it was more painful after the exercise than during the exercise. But in the long run, it was better for the knee. I actually had some days that I didn't hurt all day, because I was doing the exercise. Let's talk about the lack of proper blood flow that reaches to the legs and the feet. What can people do with that? How can they, what are some things they could do, like you said, from sitting or standing, or what can we do to keep that flow going in our legs?
I am a big advocate for walking. I think it's one of the most underrated forms of exercise. I know some people have a hard time walking. Depending upon the community resources, if you have access to a gym, going and getting on a bicycle can help your legs get to moving. I had a central spinal cord injury and lost muscle function in my left leg, had back surgery. So I understand what it takes to get over the pain hump and the fear around movement creating more pain. And there are some days I wake up and I feel like a bus hit me, and then I move around for about an hour and I'm like, okay, I'm going to make it. Right. But that one thing that I remember that helped me recover better than anything else was going for a walk. It was good for my brain. It helped me like breathe and kind of de-stress and not have to worry about all of the things that I needed to do. So walking, even if it's around a house. I remember my great-grandmother, whenever I was a kid and I was staying in my grandparents' house, my great-grandmother would get up and she would take her little laps. She had it was like around the kitchen, dining area, living room, and she would just walk her laps. And that's what she would do. But that kept her mobile. It kept her mind right. It kept her body okay enough. So we have access, even standing in place and, doing some little marching type movements that helps our bodies have that blood flow to give us that freedom. So you having a knee replacement, think about how good you feel now whenever you walk around after you've gotten through the healing part.
Right, after the healing part. But what I'm learning about the healing part is it's lengthy, and it's not the same for every person. You can't, because you hear all kinds of testimonies, but I'm 3 months in, going into 4 months, and I'm still having discomfort.
Yeah, you will. For it.
Yeah.
It's not linear. You're going to have some days that you feel like a rock star, and then other days you're going to be like, ooh, I overdid it a little bit. But that's recovery. Healing, regardless of the type of healing it is never comfortable. Mm-hmm. Healing inspires some sort of growth if we can make it through the discomfort of the healing process. So emotional healing, physical healing, the healing aspect for you, I would say you're getting over the hardest part.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to receive that. I'm getting over the hardest part.
You are getting over the hardest part. The minerals and nutrients we take into our bodies through food, even through supplementation. I know that I take magnesium every day because as I'm aging, it's something that helps my body recover. It helps my muscle tissue feel better. There are just very little things that we can do to kind of give our bodies that little bit of a nudge over that hump.
So in doing the health coaching with you, do you specialize in any particular regimen? Like some people use smoothies, some people take supplements. I myself take magnesium and calcium.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know how long it's going to take for it to really impact my system, but I could see some remarkable results, say like in my hands, my wrist, which would normally be tired from working, typing. But I haven't experienced any great breakthrough. I guess because in the recovery process, and then to top that off, I fell and broke my foot on the same leg.
Okay. So
for punishment, I tell you.
As far as the health coaching and me following a regimen, no, what my job is to talk with people, right? If we were sitting down, I would ask you to think about your wellness and health over the next 10 years and what you want to have access to. What type of movement do you want to be able to do? Is there some challenge or task, or what does your day-to-day look like in that wellness vision? And then we break apart those behavior patterns. I talk to people about their current nutrition and then the nutrition that they need to get there. I talk to people about the behaviors that we have to put into place every single day. So for you, the hard part is whenever we make changes as a society, because we're instant gratification, right? Like everything comes through this. We don't think about the cumulative effect of all of these decisions that we make. If we were to measure from day 1 until day 100, that's a huge leap. But day to day, we live in our bodies, so we don't feel that big magic. This is amazing. That breakthrough moment. I don't want to say that it doesn't exist. It exists over an extended period of time. It doesn't exist from one day into the next.
I can see that. Mm-hmm.
So if you think about where you were the day after your surgery to where you are now, that's your break. That's the big one. Mm-hmm. And that's the stuff that I think we get frustrated with as human beings. Is I can pick up my phone and I can call you. I can pick up my phone and I can order food and it can come to me. I don't have to do the thing to get this on the other side.
Right.
I don't have to go through the process. And our bodies are not like that. Our bodies are not built like a system of computers. Our behaviors are the systems that we put in place in our lives to give us that thing to rely on in the long term, when things may not be going as easily or as smoothly as we want them to be. The systems that we have in our lives give us access to being able to say, hey, you know what, I have this default thing that I can go to. But it's very hard to change our brains from the instant gratification to I'm making a decision every single day because I want to get here.
That's exactly what you have to do every single day. You have to make a decision. So when it references Alzheimer's and dementia, what are some changes, eating habits, snacks, or whatever need to be addressed? Let's say you're 55 and you're starting just a little bit of not being able to locate your keys or forgetting important things, and you just pass it off as, oh, well. But what are some healthy things that we can do?
I think, you just made a very good statement that pass it off as, oh, well, it's part of aging. I think that there's a level of acceptance that we shouldn't accept. I don't think that is like status quo shouldn't be good enough. And so for us to say, I'm looking at my current nutrition, am I drinking enough water? Right? Like water is a conductor. If our body is 2% dehydrated, our brains and bodies are going to be 15 to 30% less efficient. That could be remembering where your keys are.
Wow.
So water itself is the life force. And there's a lot of people who don't drink. I know there's that, like, let's have some water. But a lot of people don't think about that. Or they say, I don't like the taste of water. Okay, well, find something that is basically water that you do like the taste of, right? We're going to start there. It doesn't have to be perfect. There's no such thing. But water, are you getting your vitamins through your food? If you're not, that's what supplementation is for. That's where vitamins come in. Do we need to take vitamins every day? I don't. The only vitamin I take every day, I take vitamin C in the morning. I take magnesium at night. Outside of that, I try to get it from my food. Fruits and vegetables, if people have access to them. If they're not great in a grocery store, are there farmers markets? Can you grow something? They have plenty of things that we can grow on our patios now to give us access to fruits and vegetables. Different colors have different vitamins. They have fiber. They also have water. If we look at the cell wall. Nutritionally, I think people, again, get into that easy button and we don't think about our plan. So just like our calendar has events on it for a week, plan some of the meals that you're going to have. Make sure that there's, carbohydrates, fats, proteins. You get your plants. If you eat animal product, protein, right? Carbohydrates, fruits, vegetables, rice, beans, potatoes. I can go through the whole thing. I'm not a person who believes that any food is bad. I think that every food has a place. It's just a matter of what foods we're choosing and asking ourselves, how is this benefiting me? Is it mental, emotional? Because that has benefit. Or is this strictly nutritional so that I can nourish my body so that it is facilitating healing? Is it facilitating my brain development? Good omega fatty acids. If people don't like fish, then we can go and get them supplementation with omega-3s.
Mm-hmm. What are some substitutes for protein? I know we know protein comes from animal products, but now they're doing something unique with meat. They're creating it. And it's challenging to eat that when you know it's been created, because you wonder now, what is that doing in your body?
So I am not an advocate. I am not an advocate for the Beyond Meat type things. That's not my jam. Do you remember whenever they took butter and they made margarine?
Yes.
And they added a bunch of hydrogen to it. Yes. And they're like, this is fat free. And it created trans fats.
Yes.
I think that we're going to run into a very similar thing there. So if you want a burger, but you don't want to eat meat, and you can make it out of beans and vegetables and other things, you can make an actual veggie burger, or you can eat meat. As far as the stuff that's in the middle, that personally, not my thing. But plants, you can get protein from plants. You can get it from quinoa. You can get it from beans, any sort of legumes. Different vegetables have different types of proteins in them. You just have to eat a bit more to be able to get the protein. Or there are certain plant-based protein powders that you can add to drinks, because protein is important for your body's healing, for brain development.
That's important. I know, because we're such a meat-driven culture. It's just only in the last, 15 to 18 years that people really took a realistic look at becoming vegetarians, or what they call preditarians.
There's vegan or pescatarian.
Pescatarian. And it's only been not that long that we really start focusing on our health and what we put in our body. And when I look at we were just studying psychologically with another psychologist, the patient load dealing with dementia and Alzheimer's, and how much younger the patients are becoming now. You usually don't see it till after the 60s, sometimes into the 70s, but they've been having patients like 47, 50, 53. That's a bit early to me to start an Alzheimer's track, a dementia track. And when I was looking at your article, by the way, I like your article. I like that. And I want you to tell the audience how they can get connected to you so that they can get that email. That is really good.
So my cell phone, if you want to be added to my mailing list, my cell phone number is 904-504-9894. You can text me your name and your email address and say that you want to be on our newsletter, and I can add you. If you want one from just my health coaching side, I have a website. It's mariemeritcoaching.com. That's MARIE, Merit, MERRITT, coaching.com. And I have a newsletter pop up that'll say subscribe to my newsletter. I try to give people actionable tips that you can easily apply.
Repeat your cell phone number again to make sure, because some people may not have had a pen or they want to write it down.
904 504 9894.
Okay, that's 904-504-9894. Listen, if you want to get a head start on being the best, healthiest, happiest person you can be, this would be a good connection for you. Even if you only sign up for the emails and you read the information that was in it, it would really benefit you tremendously. So I'm encouraging you to contact Marie. I enjoy her information, and I enjoy talking with her as well. And I want you to have the same experience that I have, because I'm determined for the balance of my time in the earth that I'm going to be a healthier, happier me. I'm going to live my life to the fullest, even if it means going to therapy and if it means getting a personal trainer. I'm going to do it because we're most accountable when we have that personal trainer in place. We really are. Yeah.
My staff trains me.
Okay.
Right. I work out on my own, but there are times that I need somebody else because I don't want to think about it. I just want to put my head down and do the work. I also have a therapist. I meet with her every other week. It's clockwork because that's part of my health routine. And that's the thing that I'm willing to invest in because my future of health is far more important to me because I do not want a future that's full of sickness and disease. That's not something that would bring me joy.
And it's so important that we look at that. As I'm speaking to my audience, if you know you're starting to decline in your health and you're experiencing more and more difficulties, whether it is digestional or skin, your skin will also tell you that there's something wrong in your body. They tell us we have to drink 8 glasses of water. Well, if you have a heart condition or you're in congestive heart failure, you really can't consume that much water, but you need to drink whatever your limit is because you're possibly taking diuretics that as soon as you drink, you are eliminating, which keeps your body sort of in a dehydrated state. And you heard Marie say it, that affects the brain. So if you don't take anything else away from this broadcast today, take Marie Merritt's number, 904-504-9894, and drink your
water.
Thanks for joining in on tonight with Unplug. I hope that you've enjoyed our guests, and I'm encouraging you to please reach out and see what benefit can come to your life as a result of connecting with her. I want to remind you again about our event, September 30th, 4:00 p.m. at the Social Event Center, 644 Accessory Boulevard. That's Motown Review, honoring grandparents who are raising their grandchildren. We want to give you a respite night of celebration, joy, and the soulful sounds of Motown when music was music. So we know that you come from that era and we know that you're going to enjoy that. So please get your ticket. Don't delay getting your tickets. Come and support these grandparents, celebrate with them. You can get your ticket at our website, drdianeclark.org, or Ticketmaster, Eventbrite. And if you just want to purchase your tickets right out, you can reach out to us at area code 904-476-1104. Looking forward to celebrating with you. Thank you, Marie, for being my guest on the show tonight. And I look forward to some future fellowship and conversation with you. Thank you again.
Thank you.
And have a healthy week. We'll be back next Thursday at 7:00 p.m.
Thanks for joining us for Unplugged Live with Dr. Diane Smith-Clark, PhD, helping to bring change and transformation in the mental health space within the church community. Dr. Diane wants to hear from you. If you have any questions, comments, guest recommendations, or program topic ideas, visit DianeUnplugged.com and click the Contact Us link. Dr. Diane also appreciates your prayers and your financial support. You can give online at DianeUnplugged.com and select Donate. If your business or ministry organization is interested in sponsoring this program, you can go to DianeUnplugged.com and click the Contact Us link. Unplugged Live is on all the social media platforms. Just search Dr. Diane Smith-Clark, follow, and subscribe. Unplugged Live with Dr. Diane Smith-Clark, PhD. Healthy mind, wealthy life.